Alright, so here we have a user request here, of course, that I asked for. Oop, that's too big. There it is. So, Michael LaFlame, or however you say your name, I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. Thanks for doing this video. In future videos, as you're tweaking, could you describe the reasons why you're choosing each parameter and value? So, yeah, I can do this. There will be a few other videos that come out that won't have this. I'm going to start a little mini series, 5-minute synth sound series, and that'll it'll just be 5 minutes, no voice. I won't be talking through any of them. It's just me 5 minutes, me playing with MuSynth, making a described sound in 5 minutes or thereabout. But I figured, since I did ask for user requests, that I'll go over a different Supersaw, but I'll explain as I go through, as you asked. So let me move this. There we go. So we have our basic saw. So this is the low pass filter, and basically it works by cutting off high-end frequencies. The lower the frequency cutoff, the more high frequencies are cut down, thus the lower frequency the sound is, or the lower frequencies can pass through, but the high frequencies are cut off. That's why it's called low pass. High pass is the opposite, where high sounds pass through, but low sounds don't. Band pass, think of it as like a little hill, it's a little sweet spot. Notch is the opposite of a band pass, it's a dent instead of a hill. Low shelf is what you would get from an equalizer. Bypass, well, it bypasses. High shelf is what you get from a high shelf, such as an equalizer and such. Alright. So we're going to open this all the way. We're going to bring the volume down because when we add Unison, it'll start clipping. Now, as I explained earlier, this is the Unison area, and this is where you get the distorted, widespread sound that's common in a Supersaw. So, as I explained before, each fatness value creates 2 extra voices. So when fatness is at 0, there is 1 voice. When fatness is at 1, there are 3 voices. To explain what a voice is, it's how many of the single cycle waveform are playing at a time and are being detuned by this factor. I don't quite know what the detune factor is, but all I know is that you play delicately with it when you have large unisons. Anyway, so it adds the fatness adds 2 more voices per number. So if I go up to 2, that's 5 voices. 3, 7, 9. Wait, did I have that right? 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, etc. Basically, you can do times 2 plus 1, I suppose. I don't know. Yeah, times 2 plus 1, if you're into algebra. Anyway, so we do this, then the detune I set to 4 because that's a sweet spot. And that's what I like. And you can see there the volume's clipping there. So if you see here why I don't use the amp dim, it's because, as it'll show here, amp dimming dims each voice as it continues on. And we don't want to dim the voices, we don't want to lower them, we just want to lower the volume of the patch. So that's why I don't use amp dimming. So we already have a basic Supersaw now. What I want to do, so here's the filter envelope. Now, this is the amount knob, and basically, if you were to bring this down, at 0%, the frequency cutoff would not be affected by the filter mod over here, the envelope in LFO. However, if I turn the envelope amount up, the envelope now controls the frequency. So of course I want to turn the attack down. This is decay, which is while holding how long it takes for it to go down into the release, into the sustain, and then when you let go of the key, so sustain is your sustain level, of course, and then release is the slope from sustain to 0. So there's that. Alright, so now we have the amp envelope, and I like to bring the sustain on here down to give the pluck an extra punch. Yeah, like that. And this is the envelope here works the same way as the envelope here, and you have to read the tooltips. Those will tell you your values and such, and those are fairly important. And then we just play around with this, and voila, you have a basic Supersaw trance-like patch. And we can bring the volume up because it's not clipping anymore. Alright, we can also add noise for, well, noise. But I don't particularly like noise. And then of course we'll add our delay, or echo, whatever people call it these days. This is of course the dry wet, so the amount. Damping is kind of like filtering off the different iterations as they go along. Feedback is of course the feedback amount, so how long it'll trail along. And then this is the echo time, and this is the delay time for the right ear. I think M clocks either stands for MIDI. I think that's MIDI clocks, I believe. Not positive on that, but that's what I think it is. And then we add reverb. Now turbulence is the detune of it, of the reverb itself, and I play carefully with this. You don't want to use too much, otherwise it gets messy. Decay is of course how long it lasts. Damping again is filtering as it goes along. Dry wet of course is the dry wet, it's the amount. And then the filter I like to put on high pass to only get the high sounds. And resonance is kind of like a little bump in the filter's end where the frequency cutoff is. It's a bump, kind of like you would in an equalizer, but it moves with the cutoff. And yeah, that's a better walkthrough of the parameters of a Supersaw and why I tweak each part. If you have any more questions, go ahead and ask. I love doing this. This is my favorite hobby, and now that I can do videos again, I have no issue doing videos. See you next time.